Hello, I'm Tracy Pierce. Thanks for joining me here today. I'm doing a series of free mini animal communications. This was inspired by the coronavirus. Honestly, I was house sitting during that first week when everything started to shut down and all the rushes on the grocery stores were happening. And as I was, I was driving from my house to the person I was house sitting for, I was driving back and forth, and I just wondered, wow, I wonder what all the animals really think about this. And as I just kept tuning in, the animals were like, hey, let's do this series of animal communication so we can get the word out to everybody. So that's what we're doing here. And today I'm going to talk with one of my doggy buddies. And she's actually live here in the room with me. You might hear her jingles, her little collar jingles now and again. So this is Carrie, and Carrie is really one of my animal communication teachers. And yeah, so when I moved here, I've been living with Carrie for about 3.5 years. She's not my dog, but she belongs to one of my housemates who lives here with me. And so she was one of the original dogs when I had a practice partner, an animal communication practice partner, and we would get together every day. And little Miss Carrie here would often talk to us and tell us lots of stuff about animal communication. So she's one of my original animal communication doggies. So, I'm really looking forward to talking to her today. So if you're joining us live, if you're on Zoom, if you look on the bottom bar, it should say chat. If you click on that, if you have questions for Carrie, you can type those in, or if you're watching on Facebook Live, you can type, if you have any questions, type them into the comments there, and we can ask Carrie what she thinks about this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just get quiet and start tuning into Carrie and see what she would like to share with us today. As I'm first tuning into Carrie, I feel some tiredness. And I'm not sure if it's my tiredness or her tiredness. I am feeling personally a little tired today. So I'm just gonna keep tuning in a little deeper. Carrie, is it you that's tired? She does say she has been feeling a little bit more tired than she normally does. Do you feel that's in relation to something specific, or? Well, maybe I'm just getting older. Little Carrie here is about 16 years old. Yeah, she's just saying my energy level doesn't quite feel as high as it normally does. Yeah, she's saying she's actually enjoying having the housemates, all of us, here a little bit more frequently, she says. She says having 3 of us here reminds her of when her favorite human and her kids were living here, because there were 3 of them living here. And right now, so there's 3 of us living in the house, and the 4th housemate is away. She's saying there's something really magical about the number 3, like having 3 humans in the house together. She feels like it creates a magical kind of space. That's interesting, Carrie. Do you want to say more about that? She says, well, not necessarily. She says that she's just kind of noticed over time how when there's three humans in the house, it feels very harmonious to her. Like it feels kind of like the best combination, she says. Okay. Well, I don't know that that's always going to continue. You know, there's maybe four of us at some time, and then when you go to live with your favorite human again, there may just be one. So things could change, you know, just so you're aware of that, Carrie. She's like, oh, I know. Okay. So Carrie, I know we talked a couple weeks ago, and when we did the recording, the recording was kind of low quality. I wonder if there's anything that you want to share with our viewers about you or about what's happening in the world right now. The forum's kind of yours, Carrie. Let me make sure I got my chat box open here. Here we go. And just a reminder, if you have questions for Carrie, you can type them into the comments on Facebook or the chat box on Zoom. She feels like those of us here, especially in the United States, that we're just starting to really feel the full effects of the virus and how it's going to change things. She's showing it. It almost looks like entering this gray pool is what it looks like. Carrie, can you tell me more about that? What she's showing is this contrast between, so if you're going scuba diving, like you really want to be in those waters that are clear and beautiful, and she's showing me this sea of really blue water and how, you know, you can look down with goggles and it's very clear. What she says, what's happening now, it's more like you're going to be scuba diving in this gray pool. Like it's not going to be super clear. People don't know what they're necessarily like they can't see clearly what they're going for, is what Carrie is saying. I wonder, do you have any advice or suggestions for us how to navigate that? Well, she's saying it's going to be really interesting from a worldwide perspective because, you know, every country, even every state has a different leader, and it may be a different leadership style. And, you know, globally, they don't always necessarily mix really well. And it's going to kind of be, you know, each individual country is going to be responsible for their own policies and growth, since there really isn't like an international governing body, really. She's like, well, there's the UN, but they don't really do things the way the government does. They don't have the same authority. And what she really wishes was that international leaders could kind of, like she shows them putting their heads together, like literally putting their heads together. I really wish we could help them get on the same page. Yeah, so what she's showing me is, so if everybody were to dive into this gray pool and just kind of be swimming, you know, even if they have their goggles and their mask and their breathing apparatus, they're still just kind of swimming aimlessly in this gray pool. What she is showing me that she would like to have happen is, wow, if world leaders could cooperate, and it's almost like she's showing a rope connected between all the different leaders in their scuba suits, and like, oh, if we could all hang on together and kind of swim together, at least we would all be swimming in the same direction and helping each other all go in the same way. So it seems, Carrie, like you're advocating for us to work together and move forward in the same direction. Yeah, she said that's ideal. I don't know if that'll actually happen. Like she's showing all these different leaders kind of in different places in space, and how, okay, so maybe some of these are connected and they understand how to work together, and these over here kind of understand how to work together. But what she thinks we really need to get to is everybody being able to kind of see things on the same level and working um, to swim more harmoniously towards a solution, is what Carrie's saying. Yeah, that's a really high hope, I think, Carrie. I think we all hope that our international leaders can work together. Whether that will actually happen, I don't know. What Carrie is asking is for those of us in the public to really kind of aspire and turning all of this up to a higher power in some ways, is how I'm feeling it. She's like, I don't know if it'll really happen, but if it were possible, that would be a way that things could be a bit more resolved, or come forward more easily. Okay, I'm checking the chat and the comments quickly, seeing if anybody has questions for Carrie. Carrie is always happy to answer questions. So if you have any, go ahead and type them in. Carrie, what else would you like to share with us today? It could be about whatever you want. Well, she wants her favorite human, Gail. She wants Gail to know that she does really miss her. Yeah, our other housemate, who Carrie actually belongs to, is in the shelter in place in California. So we're taking care of Carrie at the moment. Yeah, I know she misses you too. We've been taking photos a lot of days to send to her. So she's asking about when Gail's coming back, and I'm not really sure at the moment, Carrie. Probably the very earliest will be the first part of May. Okay, well, Gail, she just wants you to know that she really misses you. She understands that you need to be where you are, but she does really miss you. Oh, oh, hi. Carrie's coming to sit next to me now. Hi, little buddy. What else do you want to tell us today, Carrie? What do you think? What do you want to tell us? Maybe we can put this down a little bit more. What do you want to share with us, Carrie? She's really encouraging us to find some kind of smoothness in our lives. It's like, what is the thing that really makes life smooth for you, is what she's asking. And to do more of that. She says so many of us are like, there's this choppiness that has kind of come into our lives. Yeah, she's showing, so many things have changed. Like going to the grocery store is not just no big deal anymore. It's not. She's showing, like with us, our patterns have really changed, where, maybe we would go to the grocery store 2 or 3 times a week and just get the fresh produce we need. But, like now we're trying to very much just go once a week, and what we get is what we get. And it's almost like this. She keeps showing how it's almost like these little barriers that we hit against keep coming up in our lives, that it's out of the normal flow for what we're used to, she says, and we're really needing to adapt and change. Yeah, she wants to say that, anybody out there, if you're feeling, what she's showing is this like churning up thing in her belly. She says if you're feeling that in your belly and you're feeling anxious and feeling unsafe, to come back to those things that do help you feel safe, that are still there in normal life. Like for me, she's pointing at meditation, like, Tracy, that's something that's been pretty constant in your life. And like, that's one thing that it doesn't necessarily, unless the bombs are falling all the time, that you still can make space for that meditation piece. Like for me, that's something, you know. And then she's showing me a runner, maybe, you know, that's how this guy particularly, like, that's something that really brings a lot of balance to his own life. And so she's really encouraging him to continue to go running. Any of these kind of little what's the right word? These little touch points in your life that bring stability. Like if you can kind of keep those, like, okay, so yeah, you've got these other blocks that are coming in, but there are points where you can do your meditation, or like she's showing a lot of times at the end of the day before bed, I'll take an Epsom salt bath. Like there are these things, like things aren't so bad at this point that we really do need to take the time and relish these little normalcies in our lives and really kind of cherish them. Thank you, Carrie. All right, so we've got a little message from Nancy here, and she says, I think Carrie is an old soul. Please thank her for sharing, and thanks, Tracy, for doing this. This is the high point of my day. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Oh, yeah, Carrie says thank you. And Carrie says, I'm not as old a soul as some of these other pets, but I've been around a while, she says. She's coming to sit on my lap again. Okay, thanks, lady. All right. So Carrie, is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers, our listeners here today? What do you think, Carrie? Yeah, she really wants people to remember the things that are still the same, still happening, and really relishing them. She said this isn't totally different from what I just said, but she is saying there are some things that are still normal, are still solid in our lives, and to place a bit more emphasis on them rather than being so focused on how things are different or how they're scary, to come back to the things that are still the same and that can help give a little bit more stability. Oh, thank you so much, Care Bear. Yeah. All right, that feels like a good stopping point, Carrie. So I'm going to stop sharing the photo. And again, thanks to all of our viewers who joined us here today. This has been really fun for me. It's kind of been a highlight for my day to start off with these animal communications. I always find there's so much wisdom and beauty and joy that come through doing this. So it really just fills me with joy as well. So I'm going to be doing these little free animal communications at least through the end of April. So if you have a pet who you feel like would like to share their wisdom with the world, please go ahead and send me a message, including their picture, name, and age, and we'll see if we can't get it into the queue before the end of April. All right, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and until next time, be well.